Good morning. How are we? Fantastic. Yes, you're awesome. My name is Daniel Deuce. If I do not know you, I would love to meet you. I am the discipleship pastor here at Mission Church, and it is an honor and a privilege and sometimes a little weird and surreal for me to be up here and be able to teach God's word. Just because I know who I am and I know what I've done and stuff. And it's an honor. So thank you for allowing me to be your pastor. Can I just say, do you guys like the book of James? This is pretty cool. Enhancer, I'm not sure. But I love the book of James. Like, when I was younger, I did not like the book of James. I was kind of with Luther. I don't really think that I fully appreciated it for what it is. But the older I get, the more I realize that, like, I need wisdom. I don't know as much as I thought I knew. And the older I get, I think that time just becomes more valuable, right? Maybe because I know that I have less of it. My time is worth more now that I'm older. I'm more aware of all of the things that, when I say yes to this, I got to say no to like 20 things over here. That's wisdom, right? Time is valuable. And James doesn't waste our time. He gets right up in it, right? He's straight to the point. There's not a lot of digging deep to do. It's like a bunch of diamonds that he just throws out on the surface, right? They're just sitting there. They're just waiting to be picked up and looked at and treasured, right? Maybe put somewhere safe so we don't forget where we put them, so we can go back to them when we need them. Just obsessed over. James is filled with godly wisdom. And it's short, and he doesn't waste our time, and I like that. It's concise, it's practical, it's useful, It's like, I can sit down, I can read James with my 8-year-old daughter, with my 12-year-old son, and pretty much, like, you can read all the little sermonettes, it's like 12 little sermons, and they can get the gist, Like, read some sentence that's 3 paragraphs long, right, in Ephesians, and bust out my colored pencils and draw a bunch of circles and arrows and, get my Greek lexicon out for you inductive nerds. You nerd. Guy's got pencils right now in his pockets, probably. I love it. No, I like that stuff, big words like propitiation, transubstantiation, predestination. There's nothing wrong with that. Romans is like beautiful. It's epic. It's deep. I'll be plumbing the depths of Romans for the rest of my life, and gladly. But James is just simple, and there's something about it that I appreciate now as I'm older. It's simple. It's not easy. It's simple. Yeah. He just lays it out there, and then he invites us, hey, obey it, don't obey it. Here it is, right? And it's written in this way that's like just so timeless. Like, you don't have to be super aware of the context or, transport yourself back in time to like what they were. It's applicable to us. I'm saying this to you so you get hyped, right? I'm trying to give you a hug because we're about to read an intense passage, okay? I'm trying to get you excited about James and see it in a positive light. It's positive and encouraging. It really is. It's awesome. Yeah, and to also just get us excited about the Bible, right? Some of us, we know we should like the Bible, but we just don't. And I just want to invite us to be excited about the Bible and be about the Bible, right? So many authors. Like, God in his plan, in his sovereign plan, just gave us this book that all this diversity of style and form, and it's got history, and it's got poetry, and it's got, there's like a songbook in there, and there's a law book, like a constitution, and somehow in all of this, all these authors and all this time and all these different scrolls, we read it, and he reveals to us who he is. And he points us to Jesus. He gets us, the whole thing is the whole gospel, which just means good news. It's the good news of God doing his saving work in the world and taking us, to glory one day. It's the story that we're in. Whether we see it, whether we're aware of it or not, it's the story that we're in. And so, and just see what God does. I dare you to just dare him to do what he says he's going to do with you if you read that book. It'll wreck you. It'll mess you up in a good way. But yeah, let's read it and see what happens. Let me pray, and then we're gonna read it, okay? Father, Psalm 119, your word is a lamp unto our feet, and it is a light for our path. See and behold wondrous things from your law, wondrous things from your word. God, we need you. Without you, we are going to leave here unchanged, and that is not what we want. We want so badly to be able to change, to be different. We want so many things in our lives to be different, Lord. There are parts of us deep down, these parts of us, these who we are, that we want them to. But we've proven over and over and over again that we cannot do it alone. The only way that we change, that it's lasting and that it's meaningful, is if you come in and you change us, Lord, in the fundamental, in the core of who we are in our heart, Lord. So God, come and speak to us and work in us and do what only you can do and change us. You are the potter and we are the clay. Make us aligned, Lord. Make us complete. Make us so that what we say we love and what we say we value and what we say we treasure lines up with what we do and how our lives are lived, Lord. Make us more beautiful and useful in your hands. For our good, for our joy, for our freedom, for our blessing. Amen. What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if someone claims to have faith, but does not have works? Can such a faith save him? Is James saying that we are saved by our works? I think that extra hour messed y'all up, man. Y'all been awake too long. We'll find out. If a brother or sister is without clothes and lacks daily food, and one of you says to them, "In peace, stay warm, be well fed," but you don't give them what the body needs, what good is it? In the same way, faith, if it does not have works, is dead by itself. James is not saying that we are saved by works. We are saved by grace alone, through faith alone. But what kind of faith do we possess? Or do we just say we? I asked you about your life, about your works, about what you do, right? About how you spend your time, about how you spend your money, about what comes out of your mouth, which is a result of what's in your heart, what you think about, what you long for. The things that we do in the dark when nobody's watching. Does our life look any different than all the other good, quality, decent people out there just trying to get it done, just making moves, trying to get through life? Is our life any different? What do our actions say we believe? Do not miss the point of this passage, please. We have a tendency to turn this into like a religious system. We love boxes to check, right? This is not about feeding the homeless, okay? That's not what this is about. When I was in high school in Mexico, which is a whole nother sermon, we would have this saying that we would just kind of say to each other, based on results. Based on results, bro. Based on results. It's kind of like what you say when somebody starts making an excuse or something. What this means is that we can look out at the results of the actions of our lives and see what we really believe, right? See what we really value. Now, this is wisdom, right? This isn't like applicable always, right? I mean, when I was 18, my dad died, okay? That wasn't based on a result of like, something that I did. There are things that come at us that happen in life that just happen. They're just horrible circumstances, That's not what we're getting at here, right? You get a diagnosis, you start getting symptoms, and you get a disease, or just all the just crazy traumatic things that can happen to us in life. That's not a result of, like, I can't take that and go, oh, what I was believing and valuing at that time, and what I was telling myself, right? So let's just make it a little lighter. I want to get out of debt. I've got to get out of debt, right? But I keep going to Starbucks every morning on my way to work. Based on results, I don't really want to get out of debt that bad. I would rather, whatever it is that you like at Starbucks, I would rather spend $6 5 days a week, $30. Dude, do the math. It's like, you could make a dent, in your debt, or just throw it in savings or whatever. But based on results, I like my Starbucks. Or how about this? I gotta lose weight, man. I want more than anything to be healthy, to lose some weight, but I don't change my diet. And I eat dessert 7 nights a week. And I don't exercise. Based on results, I don't really want to lose weight as much as I want to just keep doing what I'm doing. I want to start reading the Bible every day, right? Or just regularly, because I know that it's good and that's what God says. And like all these people keep telling me that the Bible's good and that's what I should do. But I don't wake up any earlier. And I don't have a plan. And then when I get home, I watch TV for 2 hours. Or just scroll. Based on results. I've got to stop looking at porn, man. It's just wrecking my life. I can't see straight. I can't think straight. I've got to stop this. I just feel toxic. But I don't pursue accountability. I don't tell anyone. I don't confess to anyone. I still got a phone with a screen on it. I got screens in my house. My internet's blazing fast. Based on results. This isn't meant to be a guilt trip. This isn't me or James judging. James just said, Mercy triumphs over judgment. And that's a bomb right there. He is giving us the gift, the treasure of godly wisdom in this bomb. Faith without works is dead. Wisdom is truth, right? In essence, it is grounded in truth. And the truth is that what we believe, what we really believe deep down, and what we really desire is going to reveal itself in what we do by our works. Take it to the bank. We get it all backwards, and we can't think or see straight because our eyes aren't spiritual eyes yet. We're still down here in this place, and so the enemy wants to come in and discourage you and put you down and cause doubt. That is not what this is for. This is wisdom to come to again and again and again. To look at my life. What am I loving? No, that's not what I love. Hang on a second. God, give me the power to line up my life with what you say is true, with what you say is lovely, with what you say is good. This is wisdom, and it is powerful in its effect. Verse 18, but someone will say, you have faith, I have works. Show me your faith without works, and I will show you faith by my works. You believe that there is only one God. Goody for you. Bully for you. Even the demons believe, and they shudder in fear. I don't know if y'all read the Gospels sometimes and pick up on how the demons respond to Jesus. Biblical faith is not belief like the world defines it today. This is not simply a mental assent, right? The demons know full well that God exists. They are very much aware of his power, of his holiness, his grace and mercy, but they do not trust him. They do not obey him. They definitely do not love him. They hate him. They hate everything he is and all the things he stands for. The Lord is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. They hate that God. But that is God's favorite way to describe himself. Verse 20, senseless person or foolish person, are you willing to learn that faith without works is useless? Or it could be translated, are you willing to acknowledge? Are you willing to acknowledge that faith without works is useless? Kind of sounds like wisdom, right? Don't be like the fool. Be like the wise man. Right? We don't want to be the foolish person. We want to be wise. We want to be willing to understand and acknowledge that faith without works is completely useless. He's saying, like, just open yourself up to just be wise for a second and open yourself up. This thing that God has put inside of you, it's going to come with action. It's going to manifest itself in the way we live, in a response. Just open yourself up to that idea, okay? And if I want to have a faith that is alive, that is active, that is effective and useful, then I need to accompany my faith with actions. And actions that line up with what I say that I believe to be true. Based on results, bro. Let's get a couple examples here that James, times, which is like the number of completion or perfection for a Hebrew, right? Uses it 7 times in the letter. Remember he said it in the first chapter, like, so that you are mature and complete, lacking nothing, right? It's a wholeness. It's a oneness. It's like almost like a shalom. It's like undividedness. I'm the same way. This way with this group of people, and this way this time, and this way over here. It's like a freedom and a peace that comes with being whole and complete. It's a deep, rich word. But he says here, by works, Abraham's faith was made complete, whole, undivided. And also the scripture was fulfilled that says, Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness, and he was called God's friend. You see that a person is justified by works and not by faith alone, because faith is never alone, right? Abraham's faith was activated by his actions, okay? Don't miss this. It seems really complicated but it's not. God put this thing in you, right? This gift of faith. You people are already here. Why are you at church? Unless somebody dragged you here and you're just like, dude, I can't wait to get out of here. That's cool. I mean, I'm glad you're here too. But you're here for there's something in you for whatever reason that's I need God. I need him. There's something missing. And so you're here. And then you acted on it enough that, you got up. Maybe you took a shower. Maybe not. You spent resources, a car that you have, fuel to get here, whatever. Maybe you took an Uber. I don't know. But you're here. You acted on something that God put inside of you. Do you see that? It's not rocket science. And so, righteousness. He had to wait I think it's 27 or 28 years before Isaac was born. That's a lot of stuff. Then Isaac's born, and God's like, hey, I need you to kill your son for me. Which, that sounds weird to us, but honestly, from where Abraham was from and all of the peoples that were around in the area living around Abraham, that was kind of a thing that they just did, It's hey, put your son in the fire, make it, we'll get some good rain for our crops this year. I don't know what they thought it was going to do. They were putting kids, it was not, it was an ugly practice, but this was an occurrence. They would sacrifice their children to the gods. And so God's like, hey, I want you to climb up on this mountain and sacrifice your son to me. And he's going to do it. He acts on the covenant, the promise, the request that God made with him. His faith is being made complete and more perfect, right? He's acting. He climbs this mountain. He ties his son down. His son's like, dude, a work, an action. And have not withheld your only son. I will indeed bless you and make your offspring as numerous as the stars of the sky, because you have obeyed my command. It's like a sandwich. Because you have done this thing, because you have obeyed my command. Back to James. In the same way, another example, wasn't Rahab the prostitute also justified by works in receiving the messengers and sending them out by a different route? For just as the body without the spirit is dead, so also faith without works is dead. Now, for those of you that don't know the story, Rahab was a prostitute in a city called Jericho. This is the book of Joshua. The walls came tumbling down. They march around it 7 times and blow their trumpets and all that stuff. No? Yes? No? Jericho. Okay. And so Joshua sends 2 spies into Jericho, okay, before the walls came tumbling down. Why these guys end up at the prostitute's house, I don't know. That's not in the book. But for whatever reason, they end up at Rahab's house. And then the king of Jericho sends soldiers to Rahab's house, like, hey, we heard there's these spies here. these two guys, like, we're looking for them. Have you seen them? And she's like, oh, they were just here. But like, I told them, to move on, and they left and went that way. You should go look for them. I bet you can catch them. All the while, she's hiding them on the roof under like flax or something. I mean, can you imagine if those soldiers had gone up and, had a search warrant or whatever? She hides the Israelites. It's crazy. She is, based on results, more afraid of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob than she is afraid of this king of hers and these soldiers that are in her house. Let's listen to her what she believes, right? This is her faith statement. For the Lord your God is the only God in heaven above and on earth below. That's her faith, right? She believes God, and then she backs it up with some action. She lays her literal life on the line. If they had gone upstairs and found those guys, she lays it all on the line. And she ends up, getting saved later when they take over Jericho. But I mean, does it feel ever? I mean, do you feel this connection, or do you feel, like me, just like it's asleep sometimes? Like, I believe this stuff. The Lord is heaven. He's the only God in heaven and on earth. But I don't feel all fired up all the time. It feels inactive. It feels dead sometimes. It feels ineffective. It feels useless. It's because I'm not acting upon it. I'm not working to make it active and turn it on. I'm not obeying. Right? I'm telling you. I dare you. I triple dog dare you. Start obeying him and see if he doesn't prove himself good and faithful. And now, just so you know, soil produces fruit. And it's connected to faith, It goes down and then it produces fruit, right? Matthew 7. Every good tree, this is Jesus talking, every good tree produces good fruit, but a bad tree produces bad fruit. A good tree can't produce bad fruit, neither can a bad tree produce good fruit. I feel like I'm reading that Dr. Seuss book, that tongue twister book. Sorry. I love that book. Oh, say, can you say? Is that what it is? Sorry. Every tree that doesn't produce good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So, you will recognize them by their fruit, by what they produce. Matthew 7, again, verse 24. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and who built his house upon the rock, and the rain fell, and the rivers rose, and the winds blew and pounded that house, yet it didn't collapse because its foundation was on the rock. You could not keep it down. You couldn't wreck it hard enough. But everyone who hears these words of mine and doesn't act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house upon the sand. The rain fell, the rivers rose, the winds blew and pounded on the house, and it collapsed. It collapsed with a very great crash. Faith without works is dead. Faith without works is useless. How do we respond? We act. We do. We get to work. We obey. We keep failing forward, man. I know that's like kind of scary, like maybe, but it's really not. It's so simple. And this is wisdom. This is like he's inviting us to realize the of eternal significance. Look at what you're doing. Look at your life. And it will tell you what you believe and what you value and what you love. And so if your life, your actions, your deeds aren't lining up with what you know to be good and know to be true and know to be right, I would say first ask God for help and then change it. Do something different. I know it's hard, dude. Trust me. It's so hard. But like, what am I doing with my time? Right? Some of us, like, life is hard and long and arduous, and we're just trying to get through it, you know? And we don't take the time to look at what it is that we're doing and producing. And that's the invitation here. Am I using my time for God's glory? Should I be investing in relationships? Like, are there friendships and relationships that I'm not pouring into like I should? Am I growing in grace? How about the spiritual disciplines, you know? How about my responsibilities as, you know, with family or with friends or with, like, how am I doing, right? My Bible reading, my prayer time. What am I doing with my money? How am I spending my money? That's a huge one for us, you know? Am I allowing God to make me more generous by being generous because he's been so generous? Do I believe that? Do I believe he's been generous to me? If I really believe it, I will have to be generous to someone else. If I really value the fact that he has shown me mercy, how can I not show you mercy? I give regularly. Is it sacrificial giving? Is it like, am I tithing? Like, these are just the first sort of steps, you know? Am I being a good steward with my body, with my energy, with my abilities and strength, with my car, with my family, with my job, with my, you know, house? Am I using it? Am I being a good steward? Am I serving? Am I being generous with my gifts and my abilities? Am I looking for ways to help others, to serve others, to lift others up as God has lifted me up? Jesus came as a servant. What an honor to be able to. Guys, I know this is not. Please, I was praying last night, and we prayed this morning, and you know, we prayed again. Like, I do not. The enemy wants to come in here, and he wants to discourage you, and he wants to fill you with doubt and hopelessness. And that is not James' intention. He just got done dropping mercy triumphs over judgment bomb on us. And then he comes, he does this. This is not what he's doing. The enemy wants to come and twist this. This is wisdom. This is a hack. We can't see it straight because we're still all kind of messed up down here. But he's inviting us to, like, I call it, I don't know, it's experiential illumination, right? You're alive for long enough, you have enough experiences, then you read something like this, and you go, oh yeah, that's what God was doing. That's how he works it out in real time. That's what James is giving us. And so I'm inviting you, like, hey, just start acting, just start obeying and making these little adjustments, and just fail forward, you know? Failure leads to success. That's what my wife tells her kindergarten kids. Failure leads to success. Like, you prove himself faithful and prove his word true. I got 10 things. Dude, give me like 30 seconds. I'll give you 10 things that I need to work on. Holy moly. He's been whispering about some of them for a while. And I'm just waiting for the right time, you know? Like, you know, you don't want to repent too soon because it might, you know, backfire. What? I'm the worst, trust me. You don't even know. Things that I avoid. I need to take this away, cut this away, add these things. You know, we all have these things. Things in our hearts that God's just like, hey, I want to go in and I'm going to change that if you'll just let me. If you'll just give up a little bit, I'm going to go in. A lot of the time it comes through like suffering and fire and hardship. But he'll put it in there. And he'll take that other stuff out. I don't want to be like the foolish person. I want to be wise. I need his wisdom. I don't know what I'm doing. I want to listen to these words, and when he encourages us to activate the gift of faith that God has put inside of us, we can activate it by stepping out. I want us to be encouraged today. I want there to be hope. Hope that he's going to you just start obeying a little bit, doing a few of the things, and you just watch him open your eyes. It just grows and grows. It's like a snowball effect. It's crazy. Because he really is who he says he is, y'all. And he really does love us. And he really does have our good in mind. Man. Let's close with Jesus' words. And this is encouraging, okay? And Jesus said it, you can take it to the bank. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith just the size of a mustard seed, you will tell this mountain, move from here to there, and it'll move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Let's pray. Father, I'm just a little overwhelmed by how faithful you have been to me, Lord. As dark as it's gotten and as far as I've run, you've never let me go. You've held on to me every step of the way. And you've changed me and shaped me and allowed me to know you. Lord, for those of us that are Christians, you have allowed us to know you, to taste and see that you are good. So God, I just ask that you would empower us, you would encourage us, you would give us the strength and the resolve to act now on the things that you have been whispering to us. Remove, because they do not line up with the men, with the women that you have called us to be. God, you invite us to obey and to act and to do works because it's freedom. Because in it, there's joy, there's blessing, there's flourishing, Lord. Nothing but our